where have all the summers gone? Here we are still going strong.
There's a moment somewhere between the crackle of old VHS concert clips and the glow of modern stadium screens when you realize some rock legends might be fighting time harder than they're fighting the music. You see, not every band ages like a fine vinyl pressing. Some start sounding more like a warped cassette left in a hot car at the mall. And honestly, that's okay. Every era deserves a graceful sunset. But when shaky vocals, heavy backing tracks, and tired performances start replacing the fire we grew up with, it gets tough to watch. So today, we're rolling through another list of giants who might want to step back before the legacy starts to fray at the edges.
We got each other, and that's a lot for love.
Number 1. Bon Jovi.
Now where have all the summers gone? Here we are still going strong.
Look, I grew up with Bon Jovi blasting from car stereos in mall parking lots, so this one stings. But if you've seen those 2024 and 2025 clips floating around, you know something's off. John's voice isn't just different, it's fighting him. Notes that once soared like stadium fireworks now wobble, crack, or vanish into backing tracks doing far too much work.
Who are you and who am I to think that we could ever?
And here's the thing. This is a guy who built a career on pure vocal power and that unbeatable Jersey charisma. Watching him struggle feels like watching your childhood hero run in slow motion.
She's a little runaway.
Even John once said he'd step away if he couldn't be great anymore. Well, we might be there. And sometimes, the bravest move is knowing when to protect the legend you spent a lifetime building.
Yeah, dream about a White House, spent some time in jail. Mama cried, but she still.
Number 2. Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I'm leaving my woman at home.
Here's a tough question. When a band has 0 original members left, is it still the band? After the 2023 passing of Gary Rossington, Lynyrd Skynyrd crossed that line. What's touring now isn't the group that shaped Southern rock. It's more like a respectful tribute wearing the old name. Sure, the shows sound fine.
It's always been red. My collar's still blue.
But you're not just paying for the music, you're paying for the history, the scars, the people who lived through the wild nights those songs came from. Without that, something essential goes missing.
I was cutting the rug down at a place called The Jug with a girl named Lynn Lou.
Continuing under the classic banner feels like leaning too hard on nostalgia instead of honoring the legacy properly. And honestly, I'd rather see Skynyrd fade out with grace than risk becoming a ghost of its own story. Number 3. Paul McCartney. No one has to tell me Paul McCartney is a legend. The man practically built the soundtrack to half our childhoods. But watching his performance on the SNL 50th anniversary special, you could feel time catching up.
I only send you my invitations.
The grit is still there, but the strength and stability? Not so much. Whole lines slip into talk singing just so he can get through them. And fans feel it too. Even lifelong supporters admit it hurts to see a voice that once carried entire stadiums now struggle to stay in tune. Paul still plays beautifully, and he can command a stage like few others ever could.
You're gonna carry that way.
But when a giant keeps pushing past his vocal limits, you start to wonder, is this loyalty to the music, or is it time to let the music rest with dignity? Number 4. Deep Purple. Man, I love Deep Purple. Saturday nights weren't complete without those riffs rattling the walls. But lately, even they seem to be running on fumes. Ian Gillan recently shared that his eyesight has dropped to around 30%, and retirement isn't far off. They're still planning tours and even eyeing a 2026 album, but you see the problem.
Can you remember my name?
Touring drains even the healthiest musicians, let alone someone fighting physical limitations. And while they can still spark a crowd, the danger is simple. Push too long, and that spark fades into a routine. A band going through the motions instead of igniting the fire like they once did. Maybe the most respectful move now is letting Deep Purple ride into the sunset while that legacy still burns bright instead of flickering out.
Deep down inside I feel the scream. This terrible silence stops me.
Number 5. Metallica. Here's the hot take nobody wants, but everybody quietly feels. Metallica might be too big to fail. And that's exactly why they should consider stepping away. They've already conquered everything a metal band could possibly conquer.
Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up, I cannot see.
The M72 tour looks incredible on camera, but when you really listen, the cracks show. The songs on 72 Seasons feel bloated and recycled. And critics haven't been shy about calling it some of their weakest material. Live, James can't summon that young Hetfield snarl forever, and Lars catches heat online after almost every performance for timing slips and stamina issues.
I can remember anything, can't tell if this is true.
At this point, Metallica isn't battling other bands, they're battling their own myth. And honestly, no one ever wins that fight. Imagine them choosing to retire while still looking untouchable. Now that would be legendary. Number 6. The Who. Let's be honest, The Who have earned every ounce of respect a rock band can possibly get. They reshaped live music, redefined what a frontman could be, and survived more chaos than most bands could dream of. But watching their recent performances, you can feel that the magic isn't landing the way it used to. Roger Daltrey's once thunderous voice now struggles to climb the same mountains. And Pete Townsend has openly said touring doesn't bring him joy anymore. And with only 2 classic members left, sometimes the vibe leans more museum exhibit than living, roaring rock band. Fans still adore them, of course they do, but there's a difference between honoring a legacy and stretching it thin. Even legends deserve a graceful exit.
Just another lonely boy in town.
Number 7. The Eagles. There comes a point when even the biggest giants need to acknowledge the sunset, and for the Eagles, that moment feels long overdue. Glenn Frey is gone, Randy Meisner is gone, and the lineup on stage today barely resembles the band that shaped an entire era of American rock.
Tequila sunrise, staring slowly.
The shows sound pristine, almost too pristine, to the point where fans keep questioning whether parts are even live anymore. When the rough edges disappear, so does the soul. And let's be honest, this isn't the Eagles, it's Don Henley with a roster of hired guns. That was the contract Don Felder refused to sign, and you can't blame him. Celebrating Hotel California without the people who created it turns the whole thing into something more polished than passionate. Retiring now would protect what's left of their legacy before it thins any further. Number 8, Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden were once the embodiment of unstoppable energy, galloping riffs, soaring vocals, and shows that felt like metal marathons. But lately, the strain is showing. Bruce Dickinson still gives everything he has, but you can see him pacing himself, leaning into lower melodies or spoken lines just to get through songs he once blasted into the stratosphere. Fans have noticed the missed notes, the careful breathing, the moments where the crowd carries the parts Bruce used to dominate. And then there's the loss of Nico McBrain from touring after his health issues in 2024. Without his thunder behind the kit, Maiden already feels like a different band. The fire is still there, but now it burns on willpower and nostalgia more than raw power. Maybe stepping back before the cracks widen would be the most honorable move left. Number 9, Twisted Sister. I don't want to sound harsh, but Twisted Sister really shouldn't come roaring back for a 50th anniversary world tour. They ended things on a high note years ago, a clean, loud, emotional farewell that wrapped their legacy with a bow. Bringing it back now feels less like a celebration and more like a reboot nobody truly asked for.
People are fucked up, let's try it again!
And with Mark the Animal Mendoza refusing to return, the chemistry simply won't be the same. Dee Snider can still command a stage, no doubt about it, but that alone doesn't justify a full-scale comeback. Most fans have already moved on, and the ones who loved them got the perfect goodbye. Why risk half-filled arenas, nostalgia-only crowds, and shows that can't match the fire of their prime? Sometimes staying retired is the strongest, most dignified choice a band can make. Number 10, Aerosmith. I want to close this list with a rare example of a band that actually stopped at the right moment, even if fate forced their hand. Aerosmith's 2023 Peace Out tour was meant to be this big, triumphant lap around the rock and roll universe. And honestly, they probably would have kept going if Steven Tyler hadn't suffered that brutal vocal injury. When he fractured his larynx mid-tour, everything paused. Months passed, dates were canceled, and eventually the band admitted the truth. He wouldn't fully recover. By 2024, they officially retired from touring. Painful? Absolutely. But weirdly, maybe it saved them. Because the alternative would have been heartbreaking. Watching a legend try to fake what his voice could no longer deliver. Aerosmith avoided that fate, ending not on ego, but on honesty. And in a way, that protected their legacy more than any encore ever could. So there you have it, another lineup of legendary bands that shaped entire generations and now stand at the crossroads of legacy and longevity. And look, this comes from a place of love. We grew up with these riffs echoing through arcades, car stereos, and basement hangouts. But there's a difference between keeping the fire burning and dragging the torch long after the flame has dimmed. Retirement isn't failure. Sometimes it's the final act of respect to the music, the fans, and the history that made them icons in the first place. But hey, that's just my take. Who do you think should finally step aside? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if classic rock runs in your veins, hit subscribe and keep the nostalgia rolling.
If I leave you tomorrow, when you're on the street, you got to be able to pick up the easy meat.